You ever meet someone and immediately feel like something's off? Like their smile doesn't reach their eyes. Their words feel sharp, but they're wrapped in sweetness. Stoic philosophers warned about these people, especially the ones who pretend to be good. Seneca called them wolves in sheep's clothing. Marcus Aurelius said they're the real test of your self-control. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to spot them, and more importantly, how to protect yourself. Most people think evil is obvious, like a villain in a movie. But real evil, it's quiet. It blends in. And the most dangerous kind? The kind that smiles while it destroys you. Stoicism isn't about paranoia. It's about awareness. Because if you don't see the trap, you will fall into it. Today, we're breaking down 7 undeniable signs that the woman next to you isn't just difficult, she's toxic, maybe even evil. And we're using ancient Stoic wisdom to handle it. Here's the hard truth. Some people enjoy hurting others. Not because they have to, because they want to. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, "You're not hurt by the person who hates you. You're hurt by your own belief that they shouldn't." But what if you don't even realize they hate you? What if they act like they care while slowly poisoning your life? That's the real danger. 1. She never takes responsibility. There was a man named Alex who thought he'd found the perfect girlfriend. At first, she was sweet, caring, and everything seemed effortless. But over time, he noticed something strange. Whenever something went wrong, it was never her fault. One night, they had plans to meet for dinner. Alex waited at the restaurant for an hour before she finally showed up. No call, no text. When he asked what happened, she sighed and said, "You know how bad traffic is. Why are you making such a big deal out of this?" No apology, no acknowledgement, just his fault for being upset. A few weeks later, she forgot their anniversary. When Alex mentioned it, she turned it around instantly. "You're so materialistic. Real love isn't about dates on a calendar." This wasn't just forgetfulness. It was a pattern. Every mistake she made was twisted into his flaw. If he got hurt, he was too sensitive. If he expected basic respect, he was demanding. The Stoics warned about this. Seneca said, "The fool blames others. The wise man blames himself. The evil one makes you feel guilty for their mistakes." A person who refuses to take responsibility doesn't just avoid guilt, they transfer it. They make you carry the weight of their actions. And over time, that weight crushes you. 2. She loves drama. Let me tell you about Sarah. On the surface, she seemed like the most easygoing person. "I can't stand drama," she'd say with an eye roll, as if she was above all that petty nonsense. But here's the thing, drama followed her everywhere. Every week there was some new crisis. One day it was how her best friend had betrayed her by not inviting her to a party. Never mind that Sarah had declined the invite 3 times. The next week, her co-worker was out to get her because they got a promotion Sarah wanted. I remember one time we were at a group dinner. Sarah showed up 45 minutes late, which of course became this whole production. "You wouldn't believe the traffic," she announced dramatically as she flopped into her chair. When someone gently pointed out that others had come from further away without being late, Sarah's face changed instantly. "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy." Her voice got that wounded tone. "I guess I just care too much about looking presentable. Sorry if that's a crime." Suddenly, the whole table was tense. The evening became about comforting Sarah, reassuring her that no one was mad. Here's what I learned from Stoicism about people like this. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The more someone claims to hate attention, the more they arrange situations to receive it." These people don't actually want peace. They want the adrenaline rush of conflict, followed by the satisfaction of being comforted. The scary part? They're often completely unaware they're doing it. They genuinely believe they're the victim in every scenario. That's what makes them so dangerous. Their capacity for self-deception means they'll drag you into their drama while making you feel like the unreasonable one. A truly peaceful person diffuses tension. A drama addict creates it, then acts like they're above it. 3. She uses your weaknesses against you. I'll never forget how my friend Mark described his breakup. He'd been dating Lisa for 2 years, and during that time, he'd shared things with her he'd never told anyone. About his childhood struggles with anxiety, about how his father's criticism still haunted him. Then one night during an argument, Lisa went for the jugular. "No wonder your dad thought you were weak," she spat. "Look at you now." Exactly the failure he predicted. Mark said it felt like being punched in the stomach. Those weren't just angry words. They were precision strikes using ammunition he'd given her in moments of trust. Epictetus warned about this 2,000 years ago. When you share your vulnerabilities, you give others the map to your destruction. The Stoics believed true strength came from self-reliance, not because people couldn't be trusted, but because understanding human nature means recognizing that even good people can turn cruel in moments of anger. What makes this behavior particularly evil is the premeditation. It's not something said in the heat of the moment. It's a weapon she's been storing, waiting for the perfect time to use. And once she crosses that line, the relationship can never be the same. You'll always wonder what other vulnerabilities she's cataloging for future use. 4. She isolates you. Jake's story still haunts me. When he first started dating Emily, his friends were happy for him. But slowly, things changed. First, it was small comments. "Mike seems kind of immature, don't you think?" Then it became, "Your sister always makes me feel unwelcome." Within 6 months, Jake had stopped seeing his friends as much. He skipped his weekly basketball games. He made excuses not to visit family. When his best friend confronted him, Jake snapped, "Emily's the only one who really understands me now." The Stoics called this the slow poison. It doesn't happen overnight. Like a frog in gradually heating water, you don't notice the temperature rising until it's too late. Seneca wrote, "The most dangerous chains are those you willingly place around your own neck." Here's how it works. 1. She identifies your closest relationships as threats. 2. She plants seeds of doubt about those people. 3. She positions herself as your only true ally. 4. Eventually, you isolate yourself to prove your loyalty. By the time you realize what's happened, your support system is gone. And that's exactly how she wants it. Because when you have no one else, you're completely dependent on her. 5. She gaslights you. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's systematically dismantling someone's grip on reality. I saw this happen to my coworker, Rachel. Her girlfriend would say horrible things during fights, then completely deny it later. "I would never call you that," she'd say, with such conviction that Rachel started questioning her own memory. Once, Rachel distinctly remembered her girlfriend promising to come to an important work event, only to be told later, "You must have dreamed that. I never agreed to that." Marcus Aurelius wrote about this tactic centuries before it had a name. "The liar does greater harm than the thief, for he steals the very ground beneath a man's feet." The most insidious part? Gaslighting often starts small, misremembering minor details, making you doubt small things. But over time, it escalates. You start keeping notes, recording conversations, constantly second-guessing yourself. That's when you know you're in real trouble, when you need evidence to trust your own mind. 6. She enjoys your pain. There's a particular cruelty in someone who derives pleasure from your suffering. I'm not talking about someone who hurts you in anger. I mean someone who hurts you deliberately and takes satisfaction in it. David told me about his ex who would say cutting things with a smile. Once, after he failed to get a promotion, she patted his hand and said, "It's okay, baby. Not everyone is meant to be successful." Then she watched his face carefully, like she was studying his reaction. Seneca observed, "Some wounds are inflicted not for gain, but for the sheer joy of inflicting them." These people don't just want to win, they want to see you lose. They want to watch the light leave your eyes when they strike. The scariest part? They're often charming to everyone else. That's how they get away with it, because no one would believe the sweet, funny girl they know could be so cruel in private. 7. She never changes. The most heartbreaking pattern is watching someone give chance after chance to someone who will never change. My friend Lena did this for 3 years with her boyfriend. Every time he messed up, there were tears and promises. "I'll go to therapy. I'll do better." But nothing ever changed. The apologies became a script, empty words to get her to stay a little longer. Epictetus put it bluntly, "We are not given a bad life by the gods, but by our own refusal to see people as they truly are." The Stoics believed in accepting reality, not the fantasy of who someone could be. Here's the hard truth. If she wanted to change, she would have. Real change shows in actions, not words. And if after all this time the only thing that's changed is your tolerance for bad behavior, then you're not in a relationship. You're in a hostage situation. Recognizing these patterns isn't about paranoia, it's about protection. The Stoics didn't teach us to distrust everyone, but to see clearly so we can choose wisely who deserves access to our hearts and minds. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, when you wake up, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." The power is in seeing clearly, and then choosing yourself. If you've seen these signs, watch our video on how Stoicism teaches you to rebuild after toxic relationships.